Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto markets. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we're going to discuss blood in the streets. What a bloodbath. Market crash. Is the crypto market topped? We've also seen more blood in the NFT markets. We're going to look at the NFT markets as well. And we're going to have some fun on Zora Trading Creator Capital Markets today. GM, if you're listening on Spaces, we thank you for joining us. Give us a comment, give us a bookmark, give us a like. You know what? If you're feeling generous, give us a retweet. If you're listening on YouTube, let us know what you want to talk about. What are you buying on this dip? Do you have anything left to buy with? We'll see. Clemente, do you have anything left to buy this dip with?
I actually do, but I don't know. I don't really feel like buying. I don't know. It's been a gnarly dip, Ray. This is like the worst sentiment I've felt on Twitter in a very long time.
Really?
In a very long time. I don't think we've topped, but you can't ignore the fact that stocks continue to rip and are basically at all-time highs, and crypto looks like shit.
Yeah, everything but Zcash.
It's just weird with everything the president is saying about crypto and how like clueless he seems about it. And meanwhile, he's like, but my sons are doing amazing. I don't know. It feels very icky being in crypto right now, and having this much exposure is wild. But at the same time, I'm like looking at the Bitcoin mining stocks that Pio was telling me about. They are absolutely sending. I started allocating money to stocks versus crypto the last few months, and everything I've bought, well, not today. Today's not looking great, but everything I had bought was absolutely performing very, very well. These Bitcoin mining stocks that I bought, one of them's up 77%. The other one's up 50%. So it's weird seeing that. And then on the flip side, you see everything in crypto has been really outperforming the last few months. So, but yeah, how are you doing, Ray?
I'm doing all right. I mean, I'm feeling it now. Today was one of the first days where I'm like kind of like feeling it, or I'm like, yeah, this isn't great. This is pain. Like, we've kind of been doing this chop, which has been annoying, but like today just felt a bit of pain. And I think that is almost a good sign that we're starting to feel that we've hit some sort of bottom, and we can run off of it. I know there's a ton of like both negative and positive pressure, like kind of keeping us within these levels. You know, we have the shutdown, we have the trade wars with China, that kind of going back and forth. We have Jerome Powell saying he's not sure what he wants to do in December with cuts. We're seeing, the stocks break out to all-time highs, continuing to outpace, crypto. And then we're seeing all these incidents with DeFi kind of popping up and causing a little bit of fear as well. We're dipping into that level of extreme fear in the crypto market. And, lately we haven't been in that level for very long. And every time we're in that level and you feel the pain on the timeline and you feel the pain elsewhere, we tend to pop out of it pretty quickly. So hopefully, like, we're going to see one of these, like V-shaped recoveries on like the fear and greed, and then kind of see a little bit of rotation like back into crypto markets. I know we're going to get some capital back on chain with the Mega ETH funds being released, but we saw this dip into extreme fear a few times in the past. March with the tariffs, again in April, dropping all the way down to 19, and we kind of stayed there for a day or two and then kind of bounced out. So the hope is feel the pain, live through the pain, maybe buy some tokens that you feel strongly are going to recover, and then ride the wave up. And this is all basically assuming that we haven't topped this cycle yet, which, isn't a given where we're at right now. But that's kind of where my head's at. Embrace the pain, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Why don't we do the weather report? And then I can, because I do have some thoughts on it. Embrace the pain, though. Buy Farmcoin.
All right, hit it up.
Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I should do a different sound. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday, November 4th. Looking over at the crypto roundup, the majors crashed. Bitcoin now below 104,000. ETH at 3,500. Solana at 161. Hype at 37. Honestly, that doesn't look that bad. Like, anyways, over the past 24 hours, it was a bloody day. $1.3 billion of leverage got liquidated. The total crypto market cap fell below 3.5 trillion for the first time since July. The crypto fear and greed index hit extreme fear. And the odds of Bitcoin falling below 100K in November hit 70% on Poly Market. I mean, good God, right? You couldn't put in some good news on here. Speaking of prediction markets, Poly Market odds now point to the U.S. government shutdown continuing into December. And Kalshi hit a new monthly volume all-time high in October. I mean, good God, Ray, the government is still shut down. All right, give me some good news. Some good news coming up here, hopefully, with the last one. Finally, DeFi yield protocol Stream Finance incurred a $93 million loss. I mean, what the fuck? Has hired counsel to investigate. Okay, so someone got liquidated. This has led to worries about yield contagion, yield DeFi contagion across a number of ecosystems. I mean, that might be the worst weather report I've ever seen. Back to you in the studio, Ray.
Excellent weather report as always, Clemente.
Way to bum me out, man.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I mean, there really wasn't much. I could have also included Mutant Apes falling below 1 ETH, Azuki falling below 1 ETH. We could have talked about the dollar breaking out, dollar going up while all of our cryptos going down. We could have talked about that. We could have talked about Adam Weitzman and the penis style acquiring crypto dick butts. Does that put a smile on your face?
He acquired the entire collection.
They're like spearheading it. They've taken control of the project.
Adam Weitzman took control of the project. Interesting.
And the penis style. PENUS for those just listening.
I mean, wow. Huge news. All right. Well, I mean, Ray, this is tough. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm a historical gigabull in crypto. I want to start by that. And I think Bitcoin continues to go up. I'm a Bitcoin bull. I have a hard time figuring out what to do with these crypto tokens, the altcoins, some of these like chain coins. I also at the same time, I felt a lot of excitement. I was actually a little bit wary when Trump initially took office and everyone was like, oh my God, I'm so this is incredible. Hoorah for crypto. No regulation. I felt a little bit of skepticism because I'm like, okay, he took office, but what, no regulations. How does that, we still have the problem of building good apps, right? And building things that people actually use. And in the last 6 months, what have we seen? We've seen only things with product market fit be gambling related, or this year, right? This has been pretty much the year of hyper gamification of crypto, where the only breakout apps were like launch a coin, trade a coin. That's it. Or like trading platforms. So what other, what apps do you use every day? So it's hard for me to on one hand, we have things that I like and that I'm excited about 100%. But then at the same time, there's so much bullshit that needs to get flushed out. So much bullshit. Random ass chains with no users. There's so much shit in this system that I'm like, I actually wouldn't mind we see all of that get flushed out. But obviously it comes at the expense of the contagion kind of conversation. But you can't deny that with all the TGEs, with all the shit that we have right now in the token department, we are due for some sort of of pullback. So yeah.
I mean, we sound so depressed. I mean, Bitcoin's still over 100K. We've hit all-time highs recently. ETH's at 3,500, well above where it was earlier this year. Solana at 160, Hyperliquid at 37, just under $40. Like, it does suck for people who've been continuing to allocate on the way up, but anybody with like decent cost basis is still up, just not up as much. Days like this suck, weeks like this suck, chop like this for months sucks, but it's about staying alive, holding conviction, holding the coins you believe in, and continuing on. And we'll continue to find on-chain opportunities. They're not going to end just because.
At what point? At what point do you stop holding these coins that you have conviction in? Is like, maybe your conviction is wrong. Have we thought about that? I've had a lot of coins where I had conviction and I was wrong and I cut those losses and I couldn't be happier that I did. So that would be my counter argument. I don't want to be a bummer, but that is another point you could bring up.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need to reconsider your bags during these. Like, if you are holding a number of things that like, you're like, okay, I have like conviction in this play, or I had conviction in this play. Like, you need to like reconsider and say like, okay, well, is this something I'm going to continue to hold to zero? Because not everything is going to recover from a dump like this on the alt side.
Yeah. So that is my that's how I'm thinking about things. It's like I am very excited about certain pieces within crypto, but I also feel the industry is very bloated. And I mean, how many TGs have we seen with just garbage? And then at the same time, we see it just is very weird to see Trump being like, I mean, it's what he always does, but when he talks about like CZ, when he talks about crypto, he basically knows nothing about it. I mean, the guy's 80 years old, right? So I wouldn't expect him to be I wouldn't expect him to be an exact on, I'm not expecting to be Zach XBT, but he genuinely feels like he doesn't. You can't get it both ways, right? Last presidency, we had Biden, and the Democrats really seemed anti-crypto. I mean, we had Elizabeth Warren with the anti-crypto army, and now on the flip side, you have someone that's very pro-crypto, but you also get the outsized effects of like, these guys are making so much money from it. It's kind of ridiculous, and that leaves like a pretty shitty taste in my mouth, because it felt like the crypto industry is at both ends, right? What half of the industry is like, dude, what percentage of the industry is like, this sucks. The Trump family just coming in and making a whole bunch of money from crypto is going to be long-term bearish. And then on the other side, people are like, no, this is exactly what we need. We're fine. Versus last cycle with Biden, everyone in the crypto industry was like, fuck the government. We need to like make a change. And we were all united. Now, like, the crypto industry is a lot more fragmented. So there you go.
You just sound like shook. Like, you sound like, I mean, you've actually been like kind of hammering on the government side for a while, where you've been like basically like saying, like you just feel jaded, like you feel like it's corrupt. You feel like even though they are passing laws, it's in their own benefit. So you've been like very consistent on that manner. I still believe like the tailwinds that we're getting from this regulation is going to push us over the top. It's just taking longer than you would think. And I think that Trump is incentivized to have a strong economy pushing into midterm elections next year. So I think a lot of this gets resolved. I just think that we're just going to have a little bit of pain. And I think buying pain is like the hardest thing to do, but it's something that ends up being like the most profitable plays in crypto when you have conviction. You got to find what you have conviction in for next cycle.
Yeah, find out what you want. Like, it's hard for me to. The only thing, to be honest, there's less than 5 tokens that I would feel comfortable buying here, which is my thing is, what do you buy? And
I think I completely agree. With that. I mean, 5 is even like high. Like, if you get rid of like ETH, Solana, and Bitcoin, I don't know if I can even give you 5 tokens right now that I would like all import if I had to make that decision. Why don't we play that game? What would you feel comfortable in shoving all in right now? What tokens?
Well, shoving all in Bitcoin is
Just
like
Bitcoin.
pretty much it. If we're talking about things that I think can outperform, it would be like I mean, dude, I don't know. I feel weird buying Ethereum straight up. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Ethereum. I've never been a huge Ethereum guy, but if we're talking objectively, I'm like, okay, you can buy Ethereum. You know, like you can, I feel like if the market turns around, Ethereum also will. Solana, Hyperliquid. That's it. And then obviously, you know, you can make a case for these different altcoins, but if I'm being brutal about it, like the list is very short. If you're being absolutely brutal about it.
I think right now, if you ask me what I would feel like, okay, shoving all in like, I don't think any of these are easy holds, but I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, BNB, Doge, maybe Hyperliquid.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's it at this point.
Everyone was fine. By the way, I want to talk about the government thing one more time. Everyone was fine. Like I was called an idiot when I was like, "Hey guys, slow down a little bit. This is getting very weird that the Trump family is just printing money in crypto and like whatever." No one cared when the price was going up. No one cared. And now it's like prices going down, and we're like, "Ooh, maybe this was a mistake." And I don't know what the alternative would have been. And there are things that I am very excited about within crypto. Don't get me wrong, very excited about. But I don't know how to value these things. You know, I had a conversation with Nick yesterday about buying like Zcash. I mean, Zcash is holding up well. But he's like, dude, you should just buy that. And I told Nick, it's so hard for me to I've been burned so many times, like plowing money into something. Like I don't know if I should buy Zcash. How do you I haven't built a thesis for any of these things other than Bitcoin, really. But I guess Zcash would be the other one that is in the interesting conversation recently.
But what do you know about Zcash? I feel like you're just buying something to buy something right now.
No, it would be like buying it in the like true privacy and kind of cypherpunk ethos would be it. Bitcoin used to be that, but Bitcoin has turned into this institutional kind of powerhouse that you know, we're basically like, we want the institutions to buy our bags. Zcash feels, and I don't know too much about it. Nick gave me the lowdown of kind of his thought process behind it, of like what the bull case is and having like true control over your money. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, eventually you need institutional bid to push these over a certain level. You can't just have a bunch of retail sitting here with Zcash. And I think that you're going to struggle to find governments and big institutions pushing for the regulations needed for true privacy, is my thought. So like your exit right now for Zcash is like, you hope it does what Bitcoin did.
Yeah.
You hope that like everyone adopted Bitcoin because it was privacy and cypherpunk. Eventually the institutions bought in and you had that same thing come around this time, but except it's for Zcash. So like it's a risky bet, especially when they've already put so much money into Bitcoin. Like you need an institutional bid at some point to push these things like into the stratosphere. I mean, it's already almost number 20 by market cap, 6.6 billion. Yeah.
I mean, dude, these guys, the commenters are pissing me off today. Everyone's just talking shit to me. I'd like to see you guys trade. Name your fucking trades that you've done, son of a bitch. We got we got Tone World talking shit, Kashmir, English NFT, all of these guys. Mine on X. I mean, all these guys. It's like the armchair quarterback. I'd like to see you make some good trades, bitch. Sir Heavybags, maybe your research should go a little deeper if you're investing money. That's exactly what I'm saying, Sir Heavybags. God damn it. I forgot I'm still holding Aster. What's Aster at?
Aster, just met her.
Oh my God, it's at 90 cents. What happened to CZ buying this thing? Oh my God.
He bought again. Did you see he bought again? He came out again. He said, really sorry about screwing up markets the first time when I bought Aster. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. But however, I'm going to continue to tell you that I'm buying Aster.
Thank you, CZ. Will pump us higher.
We've got a friend of the show hopping on again to give us a hand while some of the team is away. Welcome again, Node. How you feeling today, Node?
You know, worse than I was yesterday. So nice little market dump overnight. But buenos dias, Clemente Varas. How are you?
Buenos dias. Node, it's good to see you.
It's great to see you. Great to see you. You've been leveling up your content, man. It gets funnier and funnier, and you're getting more lovers and more haters, which I think is a good sign. So I like it.
Appreciate it. Are we getting the art? Were we buying some art today, Ray?
Hey, look, none of us have any money to buy art anymore. I'd be happy to chat art. I think it's not dead, but simply matured.
Node, if you haven't realized, has been shifting towards meme coins, Clemente, and into the trading market. I mean, the goal is buying art long term, but he's been dabbling with some meme coins. We did a nice little piece on TIBBIR last week, which I ended up buying some live on the air because I was absolutely frog pilled, I guess you'd call it. Not working out so great so far, but I don't think anything I would have been buying at this point would be very great.
I got him to top.
How you feeling today, Node?
Like
we basically just been like sitting here like moping around, like.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just happy that I got you to top last TIBBIR.
Though.
Let me see. Is my audio delayed? I think I'm having issues.
Love to see it.
Hearing.
I think it's Ray. I don't know who's delayed here. There is a delay. I don't know if it's Ray. I don't know if it's Node. Someone's delayed and the timing's off. How am I doing, Ray? Can you see? Node, am I delayed to you? Okay, let's bring Node back on.
So you're frozen for me right now.
You're not delayed to me.
Ray, okay, so we have concluded that it is Ray is delayed, and we're going to get that sorted. But Node, we're good, right?
Okay, yeah, I can. You're like crystal clear, doing great. So you and I can chat. Ray can fix his new house set up there.
We're gonna get Royce
I'm
Ray
wired
sorted.
in. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you're good. Let's try again.
All right, so I'm gonna do a refresh here. If you're listening on Spaces, you're gonna have a little bit of dead air. I'm gonna do a refresh, see if it's a StreamYard thing, and then I will be back. Clemente, no, do your thing for the YouTube.
He is delayed. You're still delayed, Ray. Just letting you know. Okay, here we go. We're back. So you're a big TIBBIR bull,
dude. Yeah,
I don't understand what it is.
Well, I mean, I'm happy to go into it. A week ago today, I did it with Ray, and I got him to buy right there at 0.42. Like literally, he bought it right at the top. I actually didn't even tell him to buy. He did it on his own free will. But the funny thing is, Ray keeps saying I'm into meme coins, which I'm not. I don't really own any. I mean, I have owned lots of meme coins in the past, but I don't own any right now. And some people may consider TIBBIR a meme coin, but those are the ones that have not, taken the red pill and dove deep into the rabbit hole and learned what it truly is. So there's like levels. It's not
a meme coin. It's not.
No,
TIBBIR's not a meme coin.
No. There's levels to this game, dude. The meme coin level is level 1. You know, you got to go deep to get to the real sauce. And I mean, wow. I don't know. I don't necessarily want to jump all the way into it because we spent like the entire show last time with Ray chatting about what TIBBIR is. But suffice it to say, it's I think what they've done is it's so fun because it's a stealth project is what it is. And they've just left all these breadcrumbs for all the, schizophrenic degens to like pick up and find. And so they're connecting all these dots and it's really fun and it's cool what they're doing. But then you've got guys that like, the conspiracy theorists that think that, they're going to partner with OpenAI and change the world. And hey, look, they really might. I don't know. But there's some interesting stuff going on there.
Crypto loves the speculative like the mysterious breadcrumbs, like figure out what's going on type of play. So I like the fact that that's been, we need more of that. It reminds me of like 10KTF kind of back in the day where there was like this. I mean, I know nothing about it, but the way you're talking about it reminds me back then where it was like the community was coming together to try to solve these different things and what's coming next. And you're kind of in this game trying to figure it out together, which is kind of what's going on here. Sounds like with Ribbit, TIBBIR. Very interesting. All right. Well, I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, it's went on an insane run. It's so hard for these things to sustain, but who, like, if this is the one.
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. I told this to Ray and to the followers, which we both made a prediction that not a single person has read the token letter, but Ribbit Capital put out, they write these letters every so often, right? About their thesis on where the world is going. And they just wrote the token letter earlier this year, and they released it to the public just now. And you read that and then tell me what you think. And then that's where you can kind of decide, like, okay, do I think that the future that Ribbit Capital is describing is going to come to pass? Number one. And then do I think that Ribbit Capital is super serious about this TIBBIR token? Number two. And if you think both of those things, then it's probably worth taking a look at. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. I've been looking at other stuff. I think I thought that the AI trend was going to come back hard, and TIBBIR's kind of part of that for sure. But if the market's going to market, we might be toast either way. So
yeah, we talked about it before with prediction markets. It's really a matter of, like, you can chase all these metas that you think might be coming out. We might be early to, but if the overall macro doesn't cooperate, being early is like as bad as being just absolutely wrong, because you're going to have so many drawdowns and so many of those tokens that like look promising, if that was the meta, aren't going to survive out the other side. So it's like really, really like a hard guessing game you have to play, like being early versus protecting capital and like playing the long game. So very tough. I like TIBBIR though. I'm that's one that I'm like not worried about like cutting when I'm going through my portfolio.
And hey, incidentally, it's right at that level that you said that smart people should buy at. It's like 0.28 or something. You were like, I'm top blasting here, but if we look at the fib retracement, 0.28 is what you want. So I think, hey, look, you could take your own advice here and double down.
I'm pulling up the chart that I drew. I said, I'm buying here. If you're smart, you're going to buy somewhere if it dips into this level. And we are basically at that level. So if you listen to last week's show, if you were interested, you're entering that level for TIBBIR, which is great. Node, Mr. Yellow has a comment for you. Have you been buying any art on Bitcoin? Do you own any ordinals or have any ordinals exposure?
Just my Bitcoin puppets and my Taproot Wizard and my Quantum Cat and my Node Monkey.
Oh, man,
just all those things that I should have sold ages ago. That's probably one of my bigger L's was the ordinal space, man. I mean, we were all sitting on like probably one to two Bitcoin worth of ordinals at one point, like between one Node Monkey, one Bitcoin puppet was almost one Bitcoin. And oh my gosh, how sad is that?
I was sitting on over a Bitcoin worth of runes at one point. So I am.
Oh yeah. You've evaporated. You've 99% down that for sure. So yeah, no art on Bitcoin. I still buy art on, Ethereum. I guess I don't really care where it is necessarily, but the most recent one I bought was William the Pawn. He just did a drop, and there's going to be a physical print that'll come with it. So I'm excited about that. And then of course, always buying Emily Shi work because hers is the best of all time.
Well, I want to talk about art. I haven't looked at it lately, so I'm just going to do this completely semi-blind over here on Gandhi. I know they're very art focused. Are any of these prices interesting to you? Ones that have like caught my eye in the past. Winds of Yawanawa at 1.9 ETH is catching my eye here. Anti-cyclone under 2 ETH is also interesting. I want to find squiggles. Why can't I find squiggles?
They're up. They were up. You passed them up at the top.
Okay, yeah, squiggles. Right, squiggles at 2.8. Any of these that are like interesting to you at some of these price points? or is it like?
Yeah, I mean,
still-
I no longer like am speculating on art. I'm buying just what I like, and half the time it's coming with a print, and I'm putting it on my wall. So but I do think like if I were to look at any of these, I would say Squiggles. I like Rafik is he's interesting. I also wonder like how much staying power he has compared to like if we're looking at our little movement, right? Our kind of internet culture. I think Squiggles are far more, interesting. And Snowfro is just such an integral part of everything that I think those are interesting. I like those. And man, I mean, I feel like the only safe bet is X copy, and but any of the work that's accessible of his is like is Max Payne or some kind of huge edition, which makes it less exciting for me to own anyway. So yeah, I look, this is like we're very much bottom of the barrel these days. I mean, you look at Pudgy Penguins. I mean, I bought those 2 years ago. Bought mine like 3 years ago, and I'm looking at I think I'm at break even in ETH terms. So that's
crazy.
not super exciting.
Punk's breaking below 36 ETH at 126K. Now they're approaching the level where 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Punk again. Like we are crashing in the alternative market. This is almost like it was getting close to 2 Bitcoin for a Punk. And now we're approaching that 1 Bitcoin level again. Like this is a pretty substantial crash on assets not named Bitcoin right now, which is not ideal for the people participating on chain.
Yeah, it hurts. This one hurts. We'll see. I mean, look, it's hard to know. Our question is like, who's the next buyer? And I'm not always sure who that marginal buyer is. But yeah, I mean, I think for now, I'm looking at coins that back to the old revenue meta, the old utility meta. There's a few that are more interesting to me now, and so the goal is let's see what I can do making money there, and then I can buy my long-term collectibles with those profits, hopefully in a few years.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Looking at the altcoin season index, this is what kind of got me thinking here. Like we are purely in Bitcoin season right now. Very defensive. We're at 22 on this. The yearly low was 12 in April, back when we had the tariff crash. Everyone's flying to Bitcoin. Alts are getting decimated across the board. Your position in Bitcoin right now, I feel like you're like feeling pain, but not quite as much. And it's really a matter of like when would you want to like deploy back into alts for an outsized gain. So it's tough to do. I mean, it's really tough to do to figure out when to do it, when to buy alts versus when to hold Bitcoin. So
yeah, what's interesting is I think I'm like part of the issue is that you have all these the stock market, and you have like these what seems like a home dunk, like a slam dunk like plays where you're like, look, why don't I just buy Nvidia, Hood, and Tesla, and I'll probably be okay. And there's so much money that's flocking in that industry that I think it's hard for like crypto to catch the narrative. So I mean, like for me, like for the first time in a long time, like in years actually, I'm like starting to buy some stocks and being like, well, let's hope that that'll kind of like help hold me over through bear markets and on the crypto side of things. I think that's really what's causing us some problems when it comes to Bitcoin, and I think on the one hand, when Bitcoin hit 100K for the first time, we got all excited and we're like, hey, we've broken through this barrier and now we can go to 1 million. And now I think we might be seeing the opposite of that, where people are looking at it saying like, Bitcoin's hit 100K. Like, man, that's a lot of money for 1 Bitcoin. And how much upside is there for the retail people that think in terms of just like 1 Bitcoin, right? So I think it's a little bit of a challenge just market wide.
Yeah, I think I agree. And speaking of alts and going down the risk curve, we are doing some exciting stuff with alts. Not the ideal market timing, but we have just partnered with Zora. We actually, while we were doing the show, we live launched our Daily Bone token on Zora today. We're going to be streaming onto Zora live going forward. You're going to be able to watch us live on the Zora platform. They've added streaming, and we're going to be doing some live trading of Zora creator tokens. And honestly, I'm kind of excited that we've like started now on this like kind of trading journey for creator tokens, because I think there are a lot of things that are like much cheaper than they were 2 weeks ago when we could have been top blasting.
Speaking of how brutal the market is right now and how difficult it is to outperform Bitcoin, we are excited to announce we have launched a token for the podcast. In all seriousness, we've been talking to the Zora team for quite some time. I think there's a lot of interesting things that they're doing. I'm a strong believer in the creator economy being disrupted by crypto, and I think if there's one that can do it, Pump Fun is obviously very interesting for the kind of more degen crowd and this kind of more almost like deep internet. Zora feels more social media, and there's a lot of things that we believe in, but obviously you guys can trade this how you want. We're going to be streaming on there on Zora as well. So yeah, we're excited about this one, and you can maybe speculate on what other things might be coming up. So
Yep. So we're gonna have this on the podcast. We're gonna be posting some clips here. We're also gonna be streaming live, and keep your eyes peeled for other creator tokens launching. If you own a Bodalgo, you're gonna get the information ahead of time. They were alerted this morning in the Discord about this token launch ahead of time. So Daily Bone up here looking trending right next to Docker, looking nice. This little doggy. We're gonna continue to stream as we normally do. We're just going to be adding Zora as another streaming destination, so you can interact there. We'll be watching the chat as well. Daily Bone, welcome to Zora. Pretty excited about this one. Already kind of climbing the ranks up here on the trending. So pretty excited here. We're gonna start trading a little bit later this week on this account. We're gonna be figuring out buys and sells. We're gonna be becoming experts in the Zora markets, figuring out what the meta is, where we can potentially find value on creators, because we are creators ourselves and we believe in creators in this market. Yeah, we'll get deeper into this later in the week. You'll hear a lot more of us coming out of Zora. Our official handle there is Daily Bone, at Daily Bone, to find the official one. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of scams. That being said, we've been talking about allocated in the alts. I've been looking at some other stuff on my watch lists. I'm really curious to get Node's opinion on potential tokens we haven't talked about. You're talking about revenue meta.
We're still so far away from the tariff panic, by the way. Solana is still 40% above where it got down during the tariff bottoms. Bitcoin got down to what, 70K?
Yeah,
we're spoiled. I mean, we're doing absolutely incredible, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, if you own Bitcoin and Solana, yes, right. Half of us own these smaller alts that just got destroyed, But
yeah, I mean,
yes,
I made
you're
some
right.
buys. I made some buys Node that I checked this morning, and I was very unhappy. Made some random ass bets. I had no business putting that much money into, and I was like, okay, yeah, awesome. Just $5,000 just out the window.
I mean,
$8,000 here.
There's some big names here on the 7-day in terms of hemorrhaging money out that I'm sure our listeners are in or have invested in. I'm in some of these. SPX 6900 leading the 7-day losers, down 43% over the last week. Athena, an easy special, down 33%. Pudgy's, the Pengu token, down 31%. I mean, there's some big tokens there at the top of the loss leaderboard that have absolutely hemorrhaged. This is Pengu below 1 bill market cap again. So I mean, there's definitely some blood in the streets in the alt markets, which is not ideal. I'm actually curious to see what these 10K portfolios are for you and Easy right now.
No, let's see. How are we doing?
Clemente at 4,300. Actually, I think you're doing better than I would have assumed here. Easy down 2,700. Basically down on everything except for Pump, which is basically break even.
This is insane.
Yeah.
God is down 90%. The abstract coin. Holy shit. Takabu down 80%. No, that's down 90.
Yeah, these were 90%. Yeah, it's almost 95% for God.
Memes are absolutely cooked. They are
That is
such-
75% down on Troll.
Wow.
Bitcoin only down 1,300, and this is like buying Bitcoin at like a very like high amount, like 119. Like, yeah, it
Insane.
shows you the power of Bitcoin during these rocky markets.
Unreal.
Yeah, so Bitcoin, if you just held Bitcoin throughout it, you'd be in the best shape right now, and then you'd have essentially powder left to rotate. So always consider taking profits to Bitcoin during good times, and this is kind of like a reason why. Yeah. All right, so we've been talking for a bit now, Node. Anything else is catching your eye in this market? Are you interested in any of these tokens?
Yes, there's I mean you pulled up Hype, and there's one that's adjacent to Hype, or actually pretty integrated, called SEDA. I don't know if you heard about this one that I've been buying a little bit.
No, how do you spell it?
SEDA, SEDA. And it's, look, I am just kind of learning about it myself, but I find it interesting. It's it's like an Oracle specifically that can do a lot. It like plugs right into HIP, all the hyperliquid stuff, and is apparently super performant and fast. And they use it for prediction markets, and they use it for a lot of Oracle stuff and price action on Hyper EVM and Hype, like HIP3, the new whatever that that proposal that's coming out or whatever, that it's going to burn SEDA. So that's what seems kind of interesting with that. Like, I think so SEDA is going to, it's like the token, it's going to burn the token the more that it gets used. And apparently they're like super plugged in. It's like Chainlink, but for a bunch of hyperliquid stuff and for a bunch of prediction market stuff that's like special purpose built. So I do think this one's an interesting play, and I clearly barely know enough about it to be talking about it, but I think it's something that I find interesting, and that does seem like it's getting used and it's gaining traction.
Interesting. I've not heard of this one. Are you trading this on Hyperliquid, or are you trading this on Base?
It's yeah, right now I think it's only tradable on Base, and then eventually it'll be on Hypercore and Hyper EVM and everything else, I think. I'm not 100% on it, but yeah, like the narrative alone of it being like, hey, like this is the Oracle feed that a lot of stuff's going to be used for, like, and the more that it gets used, like it's going to burn SEDA. Again, similar to Hype's whole, a lot of Hype's like tokenomics, I think, but it's it's like a simple, hey, this is Chainlink, but for Hyperliquid and for a bunch of stuff going on over there. I find this one interesting. And then the other one that I find that I'm like wondering about is Railgun, RAIL, on Ethereum. It's like some privacy coin. Again, I just know barely the big enough, like the overall narrative. And like, if you think about how Zcash is the only thing that's been doing well, like Rail, I think has like pretty strong support from like Vitalik, and others, and it's helping to make Ethereum, privacy on Ethereum and in wallets and stuff. And so I don't know, I just like the broader narrative that maybe this might be something to pay attention to as well. And I'm just barely learning about this one. You know who a really good follow is on X is he's the one that's mentioned these coins, is Ghost. I actually don't remember his whole handle, but it's Ghost. He's like the purple PFP, and he tends to be generally right and early to a lot of stuff. So
yeah, he does have a lot of takes. I think he's basically part of that whole DTR XBT.
Yeah. He's got his whale chat there. And yeah, he can be a little abrasive, but has, has some interesting takes. He was super early on TIBBIR too. I didn't find TIBBIR through him. I found it through Kadeen, but he was. So yeah, I mean, SEDA ripped, and then, this last drop kind of really took it out of it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm taking a look over at some of the watch lists I have put together. This would be the privacy watch list, which is holding up better than most of the market right now. Zen doing well, Veil doing well. I just added Rail here. Tornado Cash, Torn. We have Venice. I mean, they're holding up well compared to most of the market, which is interesting for privacy. It's just a matter of continue post.
Yeah, how far along are we? You know, like Dees has this great analogy, right, where he started talking about the tomatoes in his garden, you know, and when the tomato is ripe, you gotta pluck it, otherwise it just, you know, its time has passed and it starts to fade and rot. And I'm wondering where we are on the tomato cycle for privacy, right? Like how ripe is this tomato now that Ansem is shilling it hard and Mert and everybody is like, you know, I wonder too, right? Like Path and Kobe, they probably have owned like Zcash for a decade, like however long it's been out. I think they've owned some, right? Like at least I know Path has been like a Zcash bull forever. And now he's sitting at like a 10x, 20x plus in short order. So you wonder at what point these guys are going to start taking profit. You know, Kobe continues to just keep posting Zodal, so maybe he's in it for a little bit longer. But you know, he's in a slightly different financial situation than most of us. So,
or you can just drop an NFT and get hundreds of millions of dollars. I guess it was part of a bigger deal. I'm excited for Up Only. I never watched this when it was live. I've went back and watched some, so like I'm excited to be.
I am more excited about Up Only launching than any sporting event the entire year. I cannot wait. I love Kobe more than anyone. I'm massive fanboy. If you look, and he's been some of his replies lately have been really, really good and insightful and informative. Like there was one just recently. You're probably getting close to it if you keep scrolling, but he kept like it's funny too because he'll have like completely just, you know, humorous takes and things, but every once in a while one of his replies, it's like this full-blown thread, almost like giant paragraph, and it's like quite insightful. So
yeah, I have Kobe on notifications personally, and you do get a lot of kind of like shit posting, etc. But you do get like things like this where it's like giving you an insight into the market that you might not have had before, or like a way, something that like something how it works behind the scenes, that like the curtain gets pulled back a bit. So yeah, I'm excited to have Up Only back. We'll see how soon that happens.
You can bet on that, right? I think it's on Polymarket, and Kobe was like pinging Ledger, you know, openly on the timeline, being like, "Hey, can we bet on this? Like, let's bet on when we're gonna launch Up Only." You know, it's such an interesting moral dilemma. You know, like who's to say they can't just do this? I think it's hilarious.
I think something funny happened with October 31st. It spiked up to 63% chance because I think they have like a scheduled podcast that like kind of like
it's been there forever. Yeah. It's been
like Tuesday or Thursday.
It's shown like there. If you go to and like follow it on Twitch or wherever it is, I can't remember, but it's said for years now, like, hey, every coming up Thursday at 3 p.m. or whenever. And it just has never, you know, they haven't actually streamed that time for, like 3 years, but it still just shows up on the recurring schedule for their Twitch stream. So yeah, it says it's in 2 days. It's not in 2 days. Although I wouldn't put it past them to just do it all of a sudden, right? Like for it to actually happen at one of those times and them just not announce it to anybody and everyone's going to scramble to join right away.
I think that's the way to do it. I think you get like market that way.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun. Yeah, that's probably what they're gonna do. So yeah, keep your eyes out.
Yeah, have the notifications on for Up Only on Twitch. That is the alpha, and watch the meme coin market as that happens. I think there's like 1 million Up Only tickers. That
I actually want to I want to short the market the second that they start. They're notorious. Like the podcast is notorious for every time that they start streaming, the market dumps. So I kind of want to short the market just out of principle and just see what happens the instant that they start, and see if I make any money.
I feel like there's an easy 2x on something like this. If you can get like a trading bot to essentially buy, like you buy this up only token. I'm saying like just thoughts. If this is the up only token, I did about 3 seconds of due diligence at 440K, and then you set a limit order at like 2 mil.
Yeah,
and the podcast randomly starts. Like this thing is gonna send.
I mean, they don't have one, of course, right? And Kobe keeps saying, "Hey, like none of these tokens are ours. Why would you buy a fake, up only token?" And it's just because people want to buy memes and they want to make money in 2 seconds. So, risky game. I'm not playing it, but yeah, I think I'm sure something will pop just because they start their stream. So
one thing that I did, which is like adjacent, and we were talking about Zora earlier, is I bought some of the Zora TV token, where people stream to the Zora TV token. I think that it would be within the realm of possibility, considering the Coinbase acquisition of Up Only and the Coinbase acquisition of Echo, that somewhere in that deal is that they're streaming Up Only on Zora, sort of like how we're going to be streaming on Zora. And if Kobe doesn't want a token of his own, a creator coin of his own, maybe they stream to something like this Zora TV. So that was a thought process that jumped into my head. I'm holding some of this Zora TV. I think I'm down 50%. I'm down everything I bought I'm down on, but this is one that I took a speculative flyer on when that acquisition went down, just thinking like, okay, that could drive some attention to there. And if Up Only is streaming on Zora TV and people are on this platform, maybe that affects token price.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting play. And I mean, you pretty much know Kobe does not want like a token. Like it's the last thing he wants. Like he even started, right? He started Echo, and from day one, he has said, I'm never launching a token. Like Echo will never have a token. Don't, he doesn't want one for himself at all. So I think that could be a smart move. What are the broader plays? And yeah, we'll see.
Anything else you've had your eye on before we wrap for today?
I mean, just REKT. I know I mentioned it last time, but I think and again, it's a bear market. What I'm interested in are things that can still succeed in a bear market, right? If things aren't looking great, and REKT, the REKT chart is not looking great. It's like perfect lower highs and lower lows for quite a while. But I really like OSF, and I like what he's building and doing. So I think we're getting down to like some pretty good value territory. I think like especially if you get to, if it craters down to 100 million or something, at that point, I think you've got a nice little base. Like he's selling drinks. They're selling them. They're selling those cans, and I think you've got, he has connections in the institutional world. That he understands his job and his mission. He wants to drive value to the token. So I think at some point this is gonna make a lot of sense. And I don't know when that is. But I have a little bag, a decent bag of REKT, and I think, may not be the right time to buy it, but I think at some point it's certainly. You're gonna get a few big catalysts that are gonna drop, and then it's gonna rip for a bit. So,
yep, this one looks good. I mean, this is like I said, smart people. This is a level, this 165 here that we've now pinged off of twice. This is a level that used to be resistance, got broken through, was support, is at that 80% fib mark on this last run up. So this is at the 886 on the last run up. So this is an interesting level. If you are a smart person, this might be where you buy versus top blasting, like I tend to do. I hold a bunch of this. I think I'm probably down slightly. I think my average cost basis is under 200 million, but I held all the way through that run up. Wolfie asked,
true loyal supporter.
If you didn't sell at 500 to 600 million, what were you waiting for? I was waiting for for $1 billion, Wolfie. That's what I was.
Yeah, we were all waiting for $1 billion. I did sell in that range a little bit. You know who's an interesting follow is Mike McDonald. I don't know if you've ever followed him, but the thing is he's not overly kind, I would say, but he in 2021 he called some like he did a good job calling the top. He's mostly a Bitcoin maxi. He's like a poker player that's like a pro poker player. It's very intelligent, but I like following him because he has some contrarian takes, you know, every now and again, and he'll just come out and blast the timeline with it. And he did it at like the literal pico top of REKT. He was like, "This is the dumbest coin ever. You guys are all. This is looking really heavy. Like this. There's no point." And I don't agree with him, but I did like the way that he framed everything. I thought, oh my gosh, like, yeah, this is a lot of value here. I'm going to sell quite a bit at this level. And it has been, I mean, you find his tweet, you can mark the perfect top of this thing. And yeah, so he's an interesting one to follow that like every once in a while he has a good take that like helps me to realize when I'm being an idiot. And lots of times he might hurt your feelings, but a good one to follow. There it is right there. REKT getting heavy just below there. So trying to save people money. There it is. Right. So, and I like OSF. I like a lot of the stuff that he's doing. And I believe in his overall mission. But like Mike wasn't wrong. Like at the end of the day, at the end of the day, there's no, you know, if there's no revenue generating, like being accrued to the token directly, like if you don't have the perfect mechanism to connect the dots now, then you can make that argument that he does. And so yeah, I think he had some valuable things to say, but it was mostly like I think he just recognized the speculative part of it, right? And was like, look, you guys are all getting way ahead of yourselves, and he turned out to be right. So
yep, that's a good follow. I've just added him to my list. It's so hard. Like a lot of these tokens that I do like are now like entering buy levels, but it's like I don't know if I want to like average more into these at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and buy with what? What am I supposed to buy it with? All my other, you know, I'm like, all my stuff is down. I actually do know what I'm going to buy it with. I have my Mega ETH allocation that I could get refunded if I want, dude. Thank you so much. God bless Mega ETH for sidelining a bunch of capital.
When is that capital coming back? Do we know?
Or when are they announcing? I think tomorrow they announce the allocations. So you might be able to, you know, pull your bids already. But yeah, I'm curious. Like even now I'm I put a decent chunk in, and now I'm wondering, yeah, what do I want to do? Do I want to actually keep it there if I get the full allocation, or am I feeling more skittish because it's a 1-year lockup? Hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, definitely tough. I mean, you're sitting at a 3.1 bill FDV, down like everything else across the market. It just depends on like where you think crypto is a year from now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you're getting in at what? You're getting in at 900 mil as a U.S. citizen with a 1-year lockup. I mean, I put a pretty strong bet that Mega ETH is over $1 billion in a year from now. So
yeah, I absolutely do as well. I think it's as far as crypto goes, if you got to hold something for a year, and the fact that they capped it at that level to protect us from ourselves, you know, like really that's exactly why they did it. So you're getting the advantage of like the pre TGE valuation. So yeah, I think if they just let the market do its thing, it probably would be launching at like a 3 to 4, you know, like that round probably would have raised at 3 to 4 billion, you know, no problem. So yeah, who knows what happens, but yeah, I'm curious. Like I do, looking at Mon, like you had Mon up there. I kind of want to, I'm tempted to short Monad as well, like on Hyperliquid just a little bit.
It feels like its peak consensus is like everything, like it's going to be Hyperliquid. It's not going to be Monad, or I don't even know, it's Monad.
I never know how to say it. Yeah.
it feels like that could flip on its head and be the opposite based on like
Yeah.
sentiment. Just what I felt from.
And here's the thing too, though. Like, yeah, the team has had ages to think about this, and so I do have a feeling that like right around whenever the TGE is and the airdrops happen, they have something up their sleeve to, you know, destroy shorts, you know, and say like, oh, hey, by the way, we're gonna market by, you know, $100 million of this thing right now, because we believe in ourselves, you know, and we want to see this succeed. So yeah, look at that sentiment on Ethos. That's pretty wild.
12% bullish on Monad, 93%
God.
bullish on Mega ETH. So
Yeah, I mean,
concerning to me.
The one thing though that did happen, right, was like Monad, they kind of neglected all their Discord grinders, right? And so they came out in full force, I think, on Ethos and have just gone to town. So a lot of them, I think, are maybe not the highest signal. But at the end of the day, it's like, me personally, I love the way that Mega ETH has gone about everything. And I don't love the way that Monad has gone about everything, you know, just sitting here edging us for 3+ years and telling everyone how awesome they are. And, you know, it's like, I have no idea. I think they probably are really gifted and talented, but I just find it funny when your founder is out speaking at all these conferences for 3 years straight before you even have a product that is like viable and working, like, and they're acting like he's Steve Jobs. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. There's nothing that I dislike about Keone. I think he's a cool guy. I think he's talented, but it's just funny. It's like they got ahead of themselves on their own marketing and community building. And look, they've been relevant on the timeline this whole time. So let's see if it pays off. It very well may.
Yeah, I think you're seeing two different marketing approaches between Monad and Mega ETH. Mega ETH is basically like incentivizing, like, I think they're basically like using marketing budget for this raise, like essentially is what they're doing. Because they could have, like you said, they could have raised more money, but the goodwill and that initial user base, you're going to have all of these fans who are both locked up or have like profited like very well off of this raise at 100 or at 1 billion essentially, that are going to be like fans of your chain, using your chain, etc., because of that investment. So like,
and the Echo, like the early Echo round, right? At 200 million in the Fluffles. I mean, they tried to include, they did as much as they possibly could to include the broader community from day one. Whereas Monad, you were like, oh, they raised hundreds of millions from VCs, and then, you know, basically kept trying to tell people, hey, like, grind your butt off and you can become part of our community and we're going to reward you. And, you know, nobody exactly knew what that meant. So you've got a lot of frustrated people on Discord and wherever else. And I never know, like, what did it take to be in the Monad community? I don't know. You know, like, was I supposed to be streaming about every new protocol that was interested in joining the chain that doesn't exist yet? I don't know. But, you know, I think they're both going to work. But I'm just more of a fan of Mega ETH. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same camp. I haven't felt like invited into Monad or like known where to start. Whereas with Mega ETH, it's been easier. Maybe it's my circle that I'm following on Twitter or whatever, but it just seems like that was just an easier ecosystem to approach and to get into.
Yeah.
We're running 10 minutes over this, so we're going to wrap it for the day. Big shout out, Node. Thanks again for joining and helping fill in today. Really, really appreciate it. We'll have to have you back on again to recap, maybe from our yachts after we retire off TIBBIR, to be honest. We'll have to do a special show there.
If TIBBIR hits 33 billion, like the prophecy foretold, then I'll happily join you on the yacht. We can stream from there.
All right. Thank you all for listening today. It's been a wonderful episode. We do this podcast Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms, Spotify, Apple. Also, watch us back on YouTube. See what we're talking about. Look at